everybody, welcome back to Hockeybar. Today it is the 31st of January, it's Thursday, and I'm very excited. There's not a lot of news today, but there's still stuff to talk about, of course, just like any day. So let's get right to it, shall we? So first in the news, I thought this was really interesting. I was watching the game last night on NBC, and the Penguins were beating up on the Lightning pretty hard. I think it was 4-0 at the time. I mean, tension's got to run high. You got to change momentum somehow. And who better to step into the limelight than the Lightning captain, Steven Stamkos himself, went and threw down with Malkin. Now, Malkin is a much bigger guy, obviously. So Stamkos probably knew what he was getting into when he got there. Didn't fare too well for him. He got kicked a little bit. So Malkin ended up winning the fight, but it's not something you would see often. I mean, a lot of the leadership roles, are better off and less likely to fight and get defended by their own players. That's usually the case, not this time. Sometimes you just got to take matters in your own hands. If you're down by 4, and it's the third period, you got to figure something out. The Lightning couldn't come back. They ended up scoring 2, and final score is 4-2. So they got within reach. I don't know if that's what spurred the momentum or not. Probably. But the Lightning worked hard, came up short. But it's not something you see often. I felt like I should include it. I thought it was pretty interesting and something you don't see out of the ordinary too often. So now moving on, again, a game to watch. We have the Jets, who are still climbing, trying to get back on top in the Western Conference. They're only 5 points behind Calgary. Winnipeg right now got 66 points on the season so far. Calgary is 71. So they're within striking distance. Calgary's been doing very good before break. So there's still work the Jets need to do. And now going over to the Blue Jackets, there's a lot to say about the Blue Jackets. So the whole situation going on, and it's really kind of taboo how that's going on, is the Blue Jackets seem to kind of threat to trade people a lot and put their players on the trading block a lot. Like Artemi Panarin, his contract is up at the end of the year, and they're talking about trading him just before that, just to get money or whatever. So it's not a good environment. And Atkinson is another guy whose contract is running out. So that going on, and I don't know if you saw, but Bobrovsky, I guess, has been on the hot seat a lot. And I guess that's with the management and Coach Tortorella, too. So it's been a kind of a double whammy for him, and he hasn't... they won't publicly disclose anything, obviously for public relations reasons. So we don't really know what's going on in that locker room. But whatever it is, Bobrovsky clearly doesn't want to be there anymore. He keeps doing whatever it is. He was suspended by the team for a game for whatever off-ice conduct it was that he did. So nobody knows but the guys in the locker room. And clearly it's not a good environment in the Blue Jackets locker room. And if they really want to make a run for it, now they have the guys for it. They have perfect Panarin, Atkinson, just like I was talking about, Bobrovsky in net, and Seth Jones, their leading scorer, and he's not going anywhere. There's been no talk about Seth Jones going anywhere. He's the only All-Star. Actually, no, he was not the only All-Star. But they have a core unit that can probably clearly get things done. And I have no idea why they seem to want to sever or change this up. The Jets the Blue Jackets, wow. The Blue Jackets have this, and this is their first time in their entire franchise history they have this, too. I don't know what they're doing. They're just kind of throwing it away, and I feel like this is the only year that they actually have a chance. And then with all the free agency and stuff that's going to happen during the offseason, they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot, and they're going to be nothing, okay? So I worry about the Blue Jackets a lot in this case, because I feel like the morale it's just a tense environment for them. So I don't know how they're going to perform for the rest of the season. The second half has already begun, and how are they going to play? I believe it is their first game back from the break. So we'll see. The Jets have played 2 before this, so they're already warmed up. They're already back to where they were after break. So the Jets are probably more prepared than the Blue Jackets, but like we'll see. The game's going on later tonight in Winnipeg. So now moving on to the lighter note of stats is Nikita Kucherov. Yesterday I was talking about the Lightning. He actually accounted for 1 assist. That was his box score. So now he's up to 79 points on the season, 57 assists. Now, interesting thing, I saw a graphic yesterday during the game on NBC. It was saying that there's a chance that Kucherov could reach 130 points. And the last time that happened, I think it was 1995. You had both Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr both hit 130 for the Penguins back in those heydays. So if you can be the caliber of Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr, that says something on its own. So Kucherov should really be striving for that. He's still got a lot of season left. He can probably actually pass 130 points. If he passed 100, that's the best, obviously. He's headed for that, which shouldn't 21 points only he needs. So he could easily get that. There's no question about that. There's still 30 plus games to go this season, so we'll have to see. And then obviously Ovechkin hasn't played yet, so he hasn't had a chance to get more goals. Currently tied for the most points by a Russian-born player. He's tied with Sergei Fedorov from the Red Wings. Played in the 90s and 2000s and 80s, I think. I want to make sure I'm right about that. And so he's actually tied right now, and I'm really excited. And hopefully we'll pass him because I think he's very deserving. Ovechkin's also had a younger career, so it really says something if you can pass him that early. And then lastly, plus minus is led by Mark Giordano. So Flames are really good. They score a lot, so he's usually out there. Flames haven't played yet. I think they play tomorrow. So he can get back on his horse and do well. So speaking of guys that haven't played yet, since break, Robin Lehner still leading in goals against average and save percentage. He's doing really good for the team, and he's a really positive influence on them. He's always keeping them in the game, as usual. So he gets his first break coming up, or he gets his first game from break coming up, my bad. So that should be exciting. And then lastly, another guy who's been having some rest here. He played in the All-Star game, didn't kind of walked into a crisis, if you will. I don't know if you saw the All-Star game. Gibson of the Ducks allowed, I think, 7 goals in 1/2, so Fleury had to go and put the fire out. I think he did a pretty good job. The skills competition, he did a pretty good job, too. Came up a little short, but it's no matter. So that's really all I got to say today. I know this is a shorter episode and there wasn't a lot to talk about, but I hope it was entertaining. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe to make us know your presence, and your support means a lot to us. And you also won't miss an update from us if you hit the subscribe button. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one tomorrow.